Evening and welcome to the December 3rd, 2024 regularly scheduled council meeting. I call the meeting to order and look for everybody to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Take a moment of silence. Thank you. We're moving on to item number 4, adoption of the minutes. Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion to be adopted minutes meetings November 6th, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those, are there any comments from the audience on the meeting minutes of November 6th? Any comments from the council? We're all set. We have to do a roll call tonight with Natalia being on Zoom. All those in favor of adopting the minutes from November 6th, say aye. Oh,
Aye.
sorry, we have to roll call. I just said that. Natalia, how do you vote? You're on mute.
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Doc? Aye. And I vote aye. There's adoption of the town council meeting minutes of November 6th passes. Adoption of November 19th, we probably could have lumped those together.
Probably gonna be that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion we adopt minutes regular council meeting November 19th, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those, any comments from the audience? No. Comments from the council? All good. Natalia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Howard? Aye. And I vote aye. The meeting minutes from November 19th pass. Moving on to presentations. We have a presentation tonight to recognize Harold F. Glencross as Pittsfield's oldest citizen.
What did I do wrong?
So on behalf of the town of Pittsfield and the Pittsfield Historical Society, I'm pleased to present the Boston Post cane to Harold Glencross, who will be turning 101 tomorrow. He is our oldest living citizen, and we appreciate all that he has done for the town. He's in the town office, but we'll, put your name up next to it, and you'll be up there forever.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Harold. Thank you.
Taking pictures earlier, has served on the town council for a number of years and was a mayor in 82, we think.
Does the family want to have a photo with Harold? No? Mike's all set.
Come on, I'm all set. Come on. Yeah.
You can take.
Let somebody grab the camera.
Yeah, I can take a picture.
Thank you, Mike. Get in here, Mike.
Come on, I'm fine.
Get up here.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You don't get to keep the king.
Good.
That's it, that was short. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, man. Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, public hearings. Nicole. Nicole, can you please read ordinance 2411?
Ordinance adopting the town general fund budget for the period of January 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
Looking for a motion from the council?
Motion to readopt ordinance 2411.
Second.
Moved and seconded. There any comments from the audience on ordinance 2411? There are none. Any comments from the council? There are also none. Since we're ready to vote, Natalia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Ordinance 2411 passes. Nicole, can you please read ordinance 2412?
Ordinance adopting the capital improvement budget for the period of January 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
For a motion from the council,
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 24-12.
Second.
moved and seconded. Are there any comments from the audience on ordinance 2412? Yes,
I have a
please.
question, what is included in the capital improvements, what are you improving?
We have $200,000 going to the Main Street project,
Okay,
which is the PPI.
which is to encourage businesses to come back to Main Street, or?
No, it's, Jacob, you wanna talk about that?
Well, that's certainly a part of it, but the biggest part of it is it involves improvements to the main street, such as the pavement itself,
Okay,
sidewalks, lighting. It's a pretty broad, project, and this is basically the first step, of a very lengthy process.
is it only Main Street, or does it include any of the other streets?
It includes, the project can accommodate within a 5-minute walking distance of Main Street. There are other streets that it does look at, such as Stinson Street and in front of the MCI campus. It talks about sidewalks going down Nichols Street, so there are other streets, but it basically stems off of Main Street.
I just didn't know if it included, the Library Street that comes here by the library and makes the curve. That curve is really kind of nasty.
It does include.
It includes a portion, it includes adding sidewalks to Library Street itself. That is something that will be looked at in the process.
But not the street.
The street it specifically hasn't been addressed, but that's not to say that it can't be or won't be addressed during the project.
At this time, that's also being considered as part of our paving plan and being put into the, basically, we're going through a comprehensive paving plan to grade each street by need. And also in conjunction with our water and sewer experts on the ones that need to have that done first. Before we can do the paving, because you wouldn't want to pave it and tear it up 3 years later for the sewer. So we're doing a large comprehensive paving plan, and Library Street has been at the top of the list on pretty much every one of those. So that is definitely being
Thank you,
considered.
that answers.
Include this inside this, but also outside.
Okay, thank you, that
Yes, ma'am.
answers my question.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions from the audience? For the capital improvement? Hearing none, any comments from the council?
I just want to clarify one thing.
Yes, sir.
For the audience and for the council, also the council is aware of this, but this budget is a 6-month budget.
Hmm?
Okay, so be aware that this process is going to be repeated for a fiscal year, which starts in July 1. So this is January 1 to June 30th. Okay,
Thank you.
And it, just kind of tagging onto that, it's gonna result in a spring tax bill. because of the changing of the cycle of the taxing. So it's like a half-year tax bill that has to be levied in the spring, March, April, we're thinking. We don't have a time for that yet. And then in June, when we have at the end of June, when we adopt a new budget for 25, 26, then we decided if we're gonna do split 2 payments a year.
No,
That
we'll do
hasn't been
that.
decided yet.
We haven't decided.
Yes. All set, council, all set? We are good. All those, no, we can't do that. Natalia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Heather? Alex?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Ordinance 2412 passes. Ordinance 2413.
Ordinance adopting the sewer budget for the period of January 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt ordinance 24-13.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any comments from the audience on ordinance 2413? Yes, can you state your name and where you're,
Darlene Chamberlain.
Yep. Thank you.
My current sewer bill is $8 and it's gonna go up $55. So it's like you're billing the people who use it the least, the highest amount.
2415 at the same time.
As this ordinance?
You could do them both at the same time, that's what I'm saying, because
We have to do 13, 14.
You will need to amend my motion.
I mean,
Just open.
Yeah, you
Because
might
that
wanna
discussion- That discussion's more for 15.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can do 13, 14, and 15 at the
Alright.
same time, that might be.
so, I'd like to amend my motion to, adopt ordinances 24, 13, 14, and 15.
Second.
There we go.
moved and seconded. And now her question still remains. Yeah, so the town never had a minimum sewer rate. They've always had a minimum water rate. And budgeting purposes, it's just really, nearly impossible to budget with fluctuating usages on the sewer side. So we're really just trying to get a baseline that we can maintain. I think Annalise can talk to this, yeah.
I'm perfectly happy to get up and.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I was here to talk about this tonight, it just came a little later, but we're gonna talk about it all together, so I'll get up and I'll face the people who.
Yeah, that'd be
about
great.
this, So.
Thank you.
So I'm Annalise Stafford and I'm the manager of the water and sewer departments and also an engineer for the town. Doing different sewer and water projects and roads and drainage, and this is Travis Jones, who is the assistant utilities manager, operations manager. For all of this area, so we do more than just Pittsfield, but we're very focused in Pittsfield because there's a lot going on here. So it's a really good question. I want to explain, this is very unusual for there to be a, no minimum rate. We run 31 utilities and there is none that we have ever dealt with like this. I'm not saying there's none in the state of Maine. There probably are other systems like this, but it's almost impossible to manage a budget when you have no minimum bill. In Pittsfield, it's been like that, probably from the standard time, so I understand it's gonna make some people upset when we transition to minimum billing on the sewer side. It's been the case for the water side for years. You probably pay, if you are on both water and sewer, which I assume you are, you probably pay a minimum bill on the water side. The amount that, it would change it to if you're using less than the minimum, which we're looking to move it to 9,000 gallons, which equates to 1,200 cubic feet, which is also the average water used, for a household in a quarter, is gonna be lower than pretty much everywhere else in the state of Maine as well. But to you, I get the fact that you're gonna be increasing from the $8 to the 65 per quarter. But that is a pretty low sewer bill. And honestly, our sewer rates haven't changed, our sewer budget hasn't gone up. It's just the revenue doesn't cover the budget, and that just can't be. So the first step in trying to bring things and make things right and be able to fix things, a lot of people in this town want things fixed, and the only way to do it is to have revenue. We don't have enough revenue to do anything with our budget right now. Our budget has not increased, it's just that we need the revenue to cover the budget. So the first step in what we're doing, and the council's very cognizant of this change to people like yourself, is the reason why we're not yet raising the rates. We're just going to a minimum billing system and see where that gets us with revenue. And then maybe in a couple of years, or next year, who knows, reevaluate it and see if we need to make changes. So there's a lot of reasons why, minimum billing is done. There's really no good reason it's not done. When you don't have a minimum bill, if your meter stops, which we know there's a few stop meters still left in the system, people that are on the sewer get billed by their water meter. If their water meter freezes up or doesn't work, how does the town know what to bill you? It's not fair to the other customers, who pay the bill, because they have a meter reading, to the ones that have a stop meter, which they have, and we can't get all the stop meters all at once. So that's another reason that minimum billing is done. I'm saying a lot of words, not giving you a chance to talk, but feel free.
Well, I understand that there needs to be a minimum, it just seems extremely high.
It's high because you've been paying way less than what, I'm not trying to be harsh, but paying way less than what you should have, even though, but that's the town's fault, that's how they did it. But it's a very low amount compared to other communities. The average bill, now equates to probably around $600 a year, where this would still be less than 400, quite a bit less than 400 for the average user with the 65.70 per quarter.
You're discouraging conservation.
No, it's not discouraging conservation, really.
If I have a broken pipe, it would be cheaper to not fix it.
No, it wouldn't, because if it went through the meter, you'd be paying, if you had a broken pipe, it would go far over the minimum amount. The town has to bring its utilities into the world today, and there is no other utility that I know of that doesn't have a minimum bill.
So it's not even gonna be consideration of lowering the minimum?
That's not the plan at this point in time. It was to bring it to the actual billing that we're doing now. Many people in the community are paying that amount because maybe they have larger families or they use more water, or I don't know. I can't really explain why your bill is only $8 either, honestly. So it's the way most of the systems are operated. There has to be a way to have some revenue that can be counted on.
I think I would also call attention to the fact that the sewer budget in Pittsfield has remained completely flat for at least the last 5 years, if not the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So the budget has remained, I believe, the $455,000 for pretty much what I can confidently say is a decade. So we haven't raised the budget, and it's not like we're looking to spend more and spend more and spend more. We're spending exactly how much we spend, and we're very good at dialing it in to know exactly what it costs to run this system. Unfortunately, because of the lack of water, we've gotten into a situation where the billing here in the town of Pittsfield doesn't fund the budget that we have set forth and the budget that we had 10 years ago. So it's not like the budget's gone up. The budget's been completely flat, and we have to raise the rates, and we raise them to the absolute minimum we had to put this minimum bill in place, and that minimum bill has not raised rates. It keeps exactly the same rate structure in place, and it actually mimics exactly what's in place for the water. So we tried to do things as absolutely minimally as possible when we looked at this.
I have a question too. What is the sewer based on now, the sewer usage?
It's basically $7.30 a gallon. So if you use 10 gallons, your bill is $7.30.
So
Yes.
the sewer bill is more than
Per
water.
1,000 gallons, sorry, $7.30 a thousand.
So it's not equivalent to the water usage?
Right now, the sewer billing isn't based on, it's based on water usage, but it's not based on a minimum, so
No,
the,
I understand that part, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out why the sewer amount is higher than the water amount.
In many cases, it's much more expensive to treat wastewater
Mhm.
and discharge the quality of the water that we're required to discharge by the license that we hold with the state of Maine.
So how do you figure it now based on my water usage? That's all I'm trying to
But
figure out.
there's a meter in your house, right? And that
On the side of the house.
Right, and the water usage that goes, so your water bill is billed based on that
Okay.
meter that's in your house. And this goes for anybody that has a water meter in their house.
Right,
Well, it's assumed that all the water that comes in through that meter is also leaving through the sewer system. So therefore, the meter reading is
both.
taken and applied to both the water and the sewer.
and I understand that.
Okay,
see, I think
I'm
my
just trying
question
to
is, why is
figure
it more expensive
why.
on the sewer, and I'm not sure
Right.
it is, I just don't have the
It is.
water.
It is.
It is,
It's just a little
It
bit
is.
more,
it's
yeah,
like $12 more, it's not a big deal.
yeah,
But it's a difference, and I'm just trying to figure out why,
I have my bill here, so,
and I do too.
yeah, well, I only use like 1,000 gallons, so you can pretty much see my water
Well,
bill
I didn't
is
read the whole thing, but anyway,
59.50.
yeah.
that's all I was trying to figure
Yeah, I
out.
mean,
Like, for the sewer is high.
It has to do with the amount of that too, the two different, the water,
It's two different rate structures.
two different
That's
rates,
what I'm trying to
it's a
figure out.
different
So the-
rate structure.
Thank you, that's
Yeah.
what I was
They're
trying to
not the
figure out.
same, so the water
And that's
has
what I
a
didn't know.
tiered, after the 9,000 gallons, there's a tiered structure
Okay.
above that. And the
That,
sewer just
that
has the
explains it.
same
That's
rate,
all I was trying to
$7.30, sorry, it's just a lot of.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
all I was trying to figure out, I didn't know that the rate.
And we knew this wasn't popular, which is why we actually are not raising it to the level we needed to raise it to. We wanted
And
to
that was
get
my
it
question.
into the way it should be, which is have the minimum amount. And then we'll reevaluate what we're getting for revenue and increase it more if we need to. There's a lot of work in this community that needs to be done, and if we don't do this, we have a huge shortfall. This will raise about $75,000 of revenue, but it's still about $48,000 less than what we need to become. To be paid for by the users of the system, that's really how it should be. The taxpayers really shouldn't have to pay for the water and the sewer costs, in a community this size. That's why we're doing this.
One more question, so if the base rate is gonna be, the minimum is $65 and whatever.
Yeah.
If what I'm paying now is more than that, it's not in addition to the 65, thank you. That's
Yes,
the
so
other
you're
question.
not, if you're using more than the minimum already, you won't see a change. It's just the people that are using less, like,
Yeah, I don't know
so,
if it's
like,
that I'm using more.
Yeah.
It's just that, like I said, it's a different cost than what the water
Right,
cost
right.
is. And that's what I didn't know,
right,
and that's all I wanted to know.
yep, that's fine.
Thank you.
That's why we're here. We understand
Very
it's
welcome.
gonna be
Thank
part of
Thank
this.
you.
And there is a handout over there, if you didn't pick it up, but it
I
kind
did.
of tries to explain to people why we're doing this, not that we thought it would be popular.
Did that answer your
Yep,
question?
that answered all my.
Yours, yep.
Mhm.
How about yours? Not to the way you wanted, maybe, but
No, you're not alone, but that's part of what the problem is, it's not fair because the size of the system is for everybody that's on it, even though you use less, it's hard to think of it that way. But we have to find a way to have a minimum amount of funds to base the budget on, and then work from there. So it just unfortunately, we had to take this step down.
And Elise, on one
Yes.
of the other handouts you gave us at another meeting, you had a breakdown of how many accounts were gonna be affected, that were gonna be brought up to the minimum, how many were within and how many were over already. That we're gonna see
Yeah.
a change. Was it like a third, 2/3?
It was
Like-
about that, yeah, I didn't actually bring that one with me, of course, but it was about a third of the customers are being impacted the way you are, but there's a range. From anywhere from some people, I hate to say it, but there's some customers unfortunately have stop meters. There's not many. We're working very hard. Probably people are seeing letters. Because we're sending them out to all the customers with stop meters and getting their attention because we have to pick, everybody has to be treated fairly here. So we're getting in the homes and changing the meters. But anyways, you're seeing a lot of activity because we're trying to be fair to everybody. But yes, some people are paying between maybe like $7 all the way up to, okay, yeah, thank you, Travis. So about 247 customers are paying right now from $0 to $20 a quarter. 204 between $20 and $40 a quarter, and 211 between $40 and $65. So it affects about 662 of the town's customers, and the council really cared about this change and concerned about the customers because of what this is gonna do to the people who have not been paying as much. But think of it in the way that you haven't really been paying, like if you were in any other community, you've actually been getting a heck of a deal. I know that doesn't help, but, but truly, I'm not just saying that. And we'll try to take it easy here and see where things go, but we are trying to fix things, so.
Is that breakdown you just read just the sewer rates?
This is just to do with sewer tonight. Yeah, water, at this point in time, we're not talking about
Right,
increasing water, right now.
I totally understand the circumstance. I'm one of the, well, under the 9,000 gallons, because my cat doesn't like a bath, but.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you kind of have to do that. It's
Yeah.
the money to keep us in water.
Right.
It's nice
Yeah,
when the power goes off, I can say, I got town water. I don't have to worry about getting a generator onto a pump on a well, you know? So I appreciate what you do, and I know this was difficult.
No, thank you. It really is.
any other questions from the audience? Guess we're all set. Any questions from the council? On those three ordinances,
So sewer budget,
Sewer.
water budget, and sewer rates. That's all,
all
all
three,
three.
Yep.
If anybody has any questions about all three of those, they're together right now.
That's right. Any questions on the water budget? Or the sewer rates, which we just went over pretty well? Yes, sir.
Yeah, as
Can
far
you
as the
state,
water,
state your name, where you're.
John Hadley, I live on Library Street.
Yeah, thank you.
As far as the water goes, a year or so back, we had some issues with the water and we were sent some statements and whatnot, and I was expecting to hear another one. Or see another one on the quality of the water.
Hmm.
Well, we haven't had an issue. The issue was taken care of. It was the trihalometane, notice that you're probably referring to. Chlorinated organics, that probably it might be what you're talking about. But that has not been a problem since that time. We test quarterly and the numbers have been, completely addressed.
Well, they made a statement as far as pregnant women drinking the water and whatnot.
It was mandatory language from EPA and it's quite harsh.
Okay.
But there's no concern with the water quality.
All that is within EPA standards.
Correct,
Good.
correct. Yeah,
Good.
fair question.
I'm all
For
set.
sure.
Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Annalise, did you have any other information that you needed to present, or did we already cover that as far as?
No,
the
I think
last
we're
one?
good. I just provided as much information so that the public would have it and try to explain why we're doing what we're doing.
Council all set? We'll vote on all the three of these together. Natalia, how do you vote on ordinance 24, 13, 14, and 15?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Ordinances 24, 13, 14, and 15 all passed. Moving on to reports, town manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Thanksgiving meal at MCI last week went very well. We want to thank everyone between MCI staff and town staff and volunteers for all of their work. Everyone's efforts made a significant difference in bringing the community together. So that's really an awesome thing that Pittsfield does. And I'm glad that there are plans to make that a yearly event. And also a big thank you to our police department and all the other town staff for that matter for ensuring The parade of lights and tree ceremony were a success. It was great to see a great turnout. The plow truck authorized at your last meeting was picked up last week, and it has already proven to be a valuable asset as they used it, I think, the very next day, that first snowstorm. And many of you may have noticed a delay in our sidewalk clearing after this past week's storm. This was due to our sidewalk machine being temporarily out of service. Thankfully, it's in the process of being repaired, and I think, Donnie, as of right now, it is operational, right?
It is.
Okay, so we appreciate everyone's patience as we work to resolve that. So that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you, Jacob. Moving on to item number 8, old business, there is none. Item number 9, new business. Nicole, can you read resolution 24-107?
Resolution awarding the carpet flooring bid for the Pittsfield Public Library.
Look for a motion from the council.
The motion we adopt resolution 24-107.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any comments from the audience on resolution 24-107? There are none. Any comments from the council?
Do we have to read in the amount?
It's in the resolution, yeah. After.
Any other questions from the council? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote. Natalia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Heather? Howard?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Resolution 24-107 passes.
That is a quick question.
Yeah.
Do we have a time frame for when the work's gonna be done?
Donna, do you have that?
Who was the vendor that was chosen?
Kings?
King.
Okay, he's close by. He said he's backlogged, but we're so close by that he can schedule us in beginning in January. So as soon as we're able to take books off shelves and move the bookcases themselves, we can begin.
Is it for the whole library now?
It is for the reading room, the teen room, the rotunda area, and near the serve desk. It's not the back stacks.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
and it's just because all of those areas have hardwood. And the carpeting that was laid with a trim edge around it, and none of the hardwood can be sanded down and refinished anymore. It's too thin, so it's got to be covered. And it will also eliminate those little edging pieces that are hard plastic that are really an ADA hazard for patrons with walkers and wheelchairs. So I'm pretty happy to have it done. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Donna. Any other questions? Oh, we already voted, so, that's good. Moving on to resolution 25, I forgot we already voted. She threw the question in after the fact. Throw me off.
Keeping you on your toes.
I was on it. I'm good. Okay, resolution 24-108, please.
Resolution approving the equipment lease agreement with Noman's Construction Incorporated for 2018 John Deere 670G grader pending review by the town attorney.
Look for a motion from the council.
Motion that we adopt resolution 24-108.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jacob, do you have to speak to anything?
Yeah, well, this is something that you talked about at your last meeting. The Public Works Director was approached with an opportunity to purchase, basically lease with the option of purchasing it in the end. The grader that we currently rent from Snowman's, and during the budget process, you ended up putting that lease payment in the contractuals line of the highway department. And so it's a project that you've already approved. It's just, you know, a matter of formalizing the agreement. I've sent it to the town attorney. I haven't got anything back from him yet, but I wanted to get it before you just to at least get the ball rolling. I don't anticipate any significant changes coming from him, so.
Okay. Any questions from the audience on resolution 24-108? Nothing, council?
I have a question. We have 4 annual payments of $25,000 each. That takes us through 2028. And then we have a final payment of $50,000. So in 2029 budget, we're gonna be looking at a doubling of that contractual line. Or would we put that into a capital improvement payment for the equipment?
You would like to do it as a capital improvement payment.
And just saying, we might wanna think about next year, maybe creating or putting it into, could we put it into reserves, put $10,000 a year or $12,000 a year into the reserves, and then we don't have like a big payment in there.
Absolutely.
Good option. Any other comments? Good. All right, since we're ready to vote, Natalia, how do you vote on resolution 24-108?
Aye.
Did you say? You say aye?
Yep.
Okay. Craig?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Resolution 24-108 passes. I love Zoom. Resolution 24-109.
Resolution adopting the 2024 updated Somerset County hazard mitigation plan.
Look for a motion from the council.
Adopt resolution 24-109.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is just a standard housekeeping item every year. For any comments from the audience?
This is a requirement that we have to do countywide every 5 years. And it's one of those paper drills that has to go to England and it has to go to Region 1 in Boston, and this time we got a guy. Also, we met the requirements. He didn't like some of the wording because it didn't fit what he thought that. So we had a 4-month fight with him to we finally get somebody above him to come in and say, okay, they meet the requirements, pass the thing and move on.
Okay.
It's a county-wide, we got a piece of the county plan.
Alrighty. Oops. Yeah, no, we're good.
Is it a county plan that we're adopting, or is it? we
No,
have
it's our,
specific
it's
items?
our piece of the county plan.
Okay,
Every municipality has their slice in there, but it goes forward as a county plan.
so we have our parts in there are addressing hazards that we might have in town, like the dams and
That and road, big,
floodings and.
big road, you know, where you want to fix a big stretch of road, and without that, you can't go after some of the federal monies. By putting that in there, even if you put in there, you want to do the road X, and all of a sudden, road Q needs to help, you can move that, you can ask the money for over here, as long as you've got a project that fits that in there.
Good. Any comments from the audience? Comments from the council? Since we're ready to vote, Natalia, how do you vote on resolution 24-109? That's an aye, I think.
Aye. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Greg.
Aye.
Heather?
I vote aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Resolution 24-109 passes. Resolution 24-10.
Resolution approving the renewal application for a liquor license for Vittles Restaurant.
For a motion from the council,
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 24-110.
Second.
moved and seconded. Standard housekeeping to keep to the liquor license. Is there any comments from the audience? None. Comments from the council? None. Since we're ready to vote, Natalia, how do you vote on resolution 24-110?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Howard? And I vote aye as well. Resolution 24-110 passes. Moving on to resolution 24-111. Nicole.
Resolution approving the bid from Magna Grip for the installation of an exhaust removal system for the fire department.
For a motion from the council,
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 24-111.
Second.
moved and seconded. Bernard or Jacob need to speak to this at all?
This is a system that hooks onto the exhaust pipes of our trucks and takes the exhaust outside rather than into the building. It's being paid for by a FEMA grant. So
Excellent.
it doesn't, contrary to some people believe, doesn't suck the heat out of the building because it hooks directly to the tailpipe before you back in, so it takes exhaust, only the exhaust, not any air from the building.
Excellent.
It's about a 60 some odd $1,000 project that Uncle paying for.
Good deal. Okay. Any questions from the audience?
I just wanna
Oops.
to clarify, there is a match with it, so it's 57,000 that the grant is covering. And then $3,011.25 to be paid from the fire department reserve.
All righty.
Just wanna clarify.
Yeah, good. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Any comments from the audience? None. Any comments from the council?
Is there a time frame for this to get done?
Start Monday morning and put it in. Parts are all sitting on the ground.
Can't do it any sooner, huh?
Pretty good.
They could have, if you'd have doctored it, they could have put it in this week, but.
Just kidding.
Is there like a yearly servicing that they have to do for this system, or it's just?
This isn't one of those ones like they put in over at the town garage over the Newport where you gotta change the filters every year, that's tune of several $1,000s. This one is, it's got a 5-year warranty on all the parts and pieces, so.
Okay.
Excellent. Any other questions from the council? Once we're ready to vote, Natalia, how do you vote on resolution 24-111?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye.
And I vote aye, resolution 24-111 passes. Oh, no, that's not a resolution. Ordinance 24-16, Nicole.
Ordinance amending Pittsfield Town Code, Chapter 13 zoning ordinance to establish regulations for utility scale solar energy facilities, USSFs, set to public hearing December 17, 2024.
Look for a motion from the council.
Motion we adopt ordinance 24-16.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jacob, do you want to speak to this? This is just to put it to public hearing.
Yep, this is to, as you all know, we currently have a solar moratorium. The planning board has been working through this ordinance. This ordinance was drafted and created actually by KV Cog. So the planning board has held a public hearing on this, and the next step is for the council to hold a public hearing on it. So this request is to simply schedule the public hearing.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the audience? None. Any comments from the council?
Just a general comment, I guess. Can the council be informed when there's public hearings for the planning board?
Yep.
Like, can you make an announcement at the council meetings so that it's a little more widely publicized to people?
Yep.
Any other comments from the council? There are none. Since we're ready to vote, Natalia, how do you vote on ordinance 24-16?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Ordinance 24-16 passes.
It's set to public hearing.
Passes to go to public hearing. Discussion items, public comment. Anyone in the audience have anything for tonight? Hearing none. Counselor comments. Natalia?
No comments, thank you.
Thank you. Greg?
No report.
Heather?
Just, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. And, that's it, I think.
Great, thank you. Howard?
No report?
Excellent. And I will just say thank you to all the staff, for, the events that they put on with the parade and, the meal up to MCI. It's a great event for the community. I know there was a huge turnout for the parade. And, yeah, it's just great to see. So, appreciate all the hard work that everybody put into that stuff. And that is it, I guess. I don't think we need an executive session. There's not much going on there, so